Alright, so we are finally making a video for how I made this little mirror opposed to having the bar-in ones, because I think this looks a lot more sleek. First off, I'm going to let you see how it's mounted. See the bolt head underneath there, as well as the bottom side of the bolt is actually up here, because I use a 1/4x20 pitch bolt, so I can run a selfie stick or camera directly onto this instead of having to put a second mount on the handlebars. And when I'm not using it, just have this little fancy cap on there. But now let me pull this off and we can run inside and I'll show you all the parts that I used to make it. Alright, so once we get inside, this is what it looks like. I already popped the lens out of this. But essentially, I just used a 2-inch L bracket, cut this section off so there's only one hole, and so that underneath the clutch lever you don't have it actually interfering with anything else. So like I said, I use a 1/4x20 pitch thread. This is 1.25 inches long, or what, 32 millimeters, just so it protrudes enough to give good bite for a selfie stick or another camera. Personally, just run 2 spacers underneath to get it spaced out of the little indent in the lever, and then the nut for the top. But I think the tricky part of this is I use 2 M2 5mm long cone bolts, so they go through just barely. Let's see if I can get it focus. So there's not even enough room for a nut on the back side, so I just ended up using some little C-clips. This bolt is to just give you an idea. This is like an M3 and it's too big for what I actually used. But that way, when you put the head in the back, actually, might as well use the one that actually is what it is. So, nice and clean like that. This is a brand new one, just popped the lens out, and as you see, there's a bunch of 3M tape on the back side, and once I mounted it and got it all set up, then I just took an X-Acto knife and cut around it. But that is what sits underneath. So, one thing to be very careful with is you can see this little scratch, maybe. It's quite dirty, but there's a little scratch which my camera is not going to focus on right there between the two highlights right now. Essentially, I have these flipped in because that's what scratched it, so you have to be very careful with getting this all set up, but that's how I did it, and I'm super happy with it. I had to bend it a little bit more than 90 to get it to sit at the angle that I wanted, but let's see. Can I do this one-handed? Yeah, so all back together, and that's what it looks like. So yeah, this was basically the only thing I had to actually buy were the mirrors. Everything else were just random little parts that I've had from being a bike mechanic. So just dug through here, came up with the bolts that I needed, and obviously if I went out to buy everything, I would just buy every single bolt in black. But hope you guys like this little DIY. Hopefully, I don't know, see more people with it. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.